The topic should have started with the public sectors were created, or government-owned enterprises functioning under the capacity of Companies Act of 1956 and the previous thereby. We should not confuse with government sector and like education. All these are government sector, where the private sector can also come. It started with only 5 sectors, later it was increased to 18 sectors. And after liberalization, what we call it, the LPG, privatization and globalization, the LPG of Narasimha Rao, the thing got opened and both private and public sectors are there. Now, the very essence, it was developed because private sector was not of age to invest heavily. Even the banking, under the Banking Act, because the bank would not have given loans for priority sectors and they did not have the capital. So only few select groups would have been. To embrace the masses, nobody would have gone for airlines. It has come of age today. So public sector was necessary. Still the exclusive, the nearly exclusive sectors are there, which is still railways is there, which is still mining, certain aspects are there, which are still defense related, certain things are there. Then some protected also. Okay, and then we can always talk about oil, because again this is an exclusive sectors. So the sector definition was not given in by my group. Okay, which I did not expect. Now, there are around 300 state level as well as central level public sector units. Okay, and out of which, now you got to understand most of the units, our ultimate, in reality, they were taken over from the private sector because they were making huge losses. Like you could have given, I'm from Kanpur, I know all the national textile organizations were actually earlier the private sector companies which were taken over. So if they are in loss, so it has nothing to do with this. Now there are 100 companies out of 300 for which there has been no production for last 10 to 12 years. But the production is going down, but the cost is going down. Simply why it is going down? Because slowly employees are getting out. But they still have tremendous balance sheet because of the land and everything. So the government is still maintaining the welfare aspect. All the people who gave, how can we shut them out? So still honoring. So honoring and commitment is there. And the total losses done by these companies are only to the 1 lakh crore. Whereas others, 200 odd, which the money Navratnas are there and 50 Mani Ratnas are there, all Navratnas and 50 Mani Ratnas. They are together contributing a profit of 2,50,000 crores. So in the nutshell, public sector units are in surplus. And if I am from Kanpur, I can simply talk about as the NTC, one of the Allen Wells, all the employees got slowly retired, hardly few were left, and one property was sold. And immediately, for last 4 years, losses were made by selling one piece of land. So it's not so bad situation. Now, the thing comes, what is the scenario? Because right now the debate put Niti Aayog said that 47 should have been closed, public sector units should be closed. So can we survive without public sector units? So let's go by sector. Most of the airline companies in the world go bust. In India, they are doing well enough only because Airport Authority of India is providing a subsidized operation courtesy Air India is there. The day airline companies need to build their airport authorities and everything, they all go in loss the way the world goes. Public sector, the second aspect is banking. Yes, the banks are there. Private sector banks are doing fantastically well. But if only how many private sector banks you will see in the rural masses. Banks have an ulterior purpose to do priority sector lending. No private sector bank will ever give loan for crop, for livestock, to purchase urea, to purchase small utensils. All this is possible only courtesy government sector. So maybe they are incurring losses, but they are providing GDP activities which account for much more to the government and well-being, because the whole small-scale industries and the rural, which accounts for nearly 25% of GDP, and if the support of banks is not there, all those GDP activities will come down to a crystal level. Now we talk about last 7-8 years, the state level transport corporations have been there. The buses have come, the luxury buses and everything. But the fact is, still only for big city to big city private sector buses operate. We cannot have small places, the railway stations. If the state enterprise or the public sector thing of transport goes away, the transportation to small places will be all wiped out. So from the city bred, we can say that public sector can be closed, but to cater to the needs of the common public, these can never be closed. Now again, next we come to simply railways. Railways is a mammoth. Again, like buses, people will operate only the upper strata. But because here roads, so many things can go together. But in railways, either somebody has to take it the full thing, because no multi-level things can, because the roads agal-bagal, but rhymes is the same. The channelizing of so many partners all over the world, there's only one railways. So it cannot be privatized also, and nobody has the capacity to take over the railways. Now the world over, we are able to take subsidies to the farmers, to urea. Banks are the pivotal thing for implementing all government schemes. Banks are the center for every government scheme, whether it's Ujjwala, whether it is education, whether it is telephone, whether it is computer. The government has the nodal agencies to distribute everything. Private sector, you will ever think will do this? Engage in their manpower? So therefore, again, all government schemes will become non-effective. All the subsidy for everything is transported through banks. So therefore, again, we cannot have. Then we talk about the world over, people are analyzing the France, they were talked about that Indian model of mixed economy is the best, because the government has a role not only to make profits, it has to provide hope and services to the common janta, for which public sectors are must. And in fact, the best economists say that Indian public sectors are making more money. That means the government is still doing welfare activities much lesser. Now, then always talk of efficiency. Is the government's objective is efficiency? Because then they will not be able to give so many jobs. If they want to have efficiency, yes, Delhi Metro and other metro, which are also part of the government, it shows that they can have the efficiency, but only for certain sectors. But if they start creating efficiency, all the while the total fabric of this country will go. They are, when we compare private sector, the kind of salaries which they give, the kind of recruitment, open thing. You provide the same thing to the government, they can recruit and everything. Probably they will do well. Still, the maximum research in this country is taken by the government, not by the private sector. So that means they can get the good brains also, provided it is needed. But definitely, now it's the time to administer some changes in the public sector. Certain things we have come out to think. I think movement of now airlines, the people have started doing very well. It is no point that Indian Airlines or this thing which is a loss making, because the private sector has come of age, it's time to give it to them. The same way, the utilization of so much material money, which NITI Aayog has talked about 47, which are already making, take the money, keep paying your own employees through that money. But it's a quick decision making, because you are going to get a lot of money, and the government should create new PSUs So that in the new thing, like all the, we talk about data science and other thing, the no government institute or anything is coming for those training. Earlier there used to be UP Tech, but now slowly the good organizations came for the CDAC and all that. This was government. And they trained so many people. But now that government is not having any public sector unit which is only functioning in training people and providing inputs for computers. They need to do this, divest it off. Then we come to minerals. Minerals and other thing, all the mines, they need to be state of the art, and you require a lot of pumping money. So probably the time to denationalize them. They were nationalized from corporate sector because they were exploiting people. Now the human norms and other things, core supervision, everything is possible. So it's time to again give it back to the corporate sector. Let's go.